Hello everyone, I'm Justin and this is a recap of Venom Let There Be Carnage released in 2021. The movie starts in 1996 at the St. Estes Reform School, where we meet a young woman named Frances Barrison who we learn is a powerful mutant. We also meet her boyfriend, Cletus Kasady. Frances recently learned from her doctor that her mutations are advancing and she's worried that she's going to be taken away to a place where there are others like her. Cletus says they can't take her from him, calling her his one bright light. Just then, guards enter the room and drag her away into a police vehicle. In an attempt to escape, she creates a powerful sonic blast with a shriek that leaves a young cop, Patrick Mulligan, deaf in one ear. Mulligan is luckily able to reach for his gun and land a shot to her eye before she can cause any more damage, and she is taken to the Ravencroft Institute. In the present day, Frances is still locked away at Ravencroft, and Cletus is now in prison after being found guilty of multiple murders. While in prison, he asks to meet with Eddie Brock, who is now a print journalist for the Daily Bugle. Eddie is taken to see Cletus by Patrick Mulligan, who is now a detective. Mulligan and Eddie don't seem to like each other, but they both want to find out where Cletus buried the missing bodies of his victims. After Mulligan gives Eddie an attitude, Venom goes to eat him while his back is turned, but Eddie is luckily able to restrain him. When Eddie and Cletus meet, Cletus asks Eddie to print a message for his fans in return for his life story. His message reads, "That distant cathedral is all I see, fractured angel the other part of me." Eddie agrees, but as he's leaving, Venom points out carvings on the wall. And when they get home, Venom uses his photographic memory to redraw the carvings for Eddie, and is able to find evidence of where the missing bodies are. After the bodies are recovered, it is reported that the governor of California will reinstate the death penalty for Kasady. Back at Eddie's apartment, Venom begins complaining that he is starving and wants to go eat bad guys, but Eddie reminds him that the FBI is still investigating everything that went down in the previous movie, so they have to be responsible. Eddie later gets a call from his ex-fiancée Anne, who says she has something she wants to tell him and asks if they can meet. Unfortunately for them, Anne tells Eddie that she and Dan plan on getting married. While Venom is wishing death upon Dan, Anne is able to figure out that Venom is still with Eddie based on the way Eddie's acting. She gets frustrated with Eddie and leaves after telling Venom to take care of him and not to let him mess everything up. The next morning, Venom cooks breakfast for a heartbroken Eddie and brings him his mail, where he sees a letter sent to him by Cletus. In this letter, we learn about how Cletus murdered his mother and grandmother, as well as how he met Frances. Cletus invites Eddie to be a witness to his execution, and Eddie decides he should go. Eddie meets with Cletus once again, and Cletus tells Eddie that his dying wish is for Eddie to see out the rest of his days alone, and calls him a cancer to anyone he's ever loved, which causes Venom to attack him. Cletus responds by biting Eddie's hand and then looks at him confused by what he just saw.
I have tasted blood before, and that is not it.
Eddie is pissed off at Venom for nearly getting them caught and messing up the interview. Eddie has grown tired of not being able to live his own life and always needing to deal with Venom nagging him and causing problems. But Venom tells Eddie that he is lucky he even chose him. Eddie responds by calling Venom a loser that got kicked off of his own planet, so Venom breaks Eddie's nose. They have a big fight where Venom basically destroys Eddie's entire apartment before leaving and attaching himself to someone else. We then see Cletus moments before his execution. He is injected with a lethal poison, but something blocks it. The combination of Eddie, Venom, and Cletus' blood causes Cletus to transform into Carnage. Carnage murders everyone in sight in a great action sequence and escapes captivity. The next time we see Cletus, he uses Carnage's abilities to hack into a computer and find where Frances is being held. They find out where the Ravencroft Institute is located and are able to break Frances out. After burning down the St. Estes Reform School, Cletus and Frances plan their wedding that they will celebrate by killing Venom, Eddie, and Detective Mulligan. After finding out that Frances has escaped as well, Detective Mulligan brings in Eddie for questioning because he believes that he and Cletus are working together. Mulligan brings up how people have seen Cletus going around with some sort of monster, and Eddie realizes that the bite Cletus took out of his hand might be what caused all of this. So he asks if he can get his phone call and calls Anne so that she can find Venom for him. Throughout all of this, Venom has been partying and attaching himself to various people until he ends up drunk and collapsing in Mrs. Chen's store. Anne and her fiancé Dan go to Mrs. Chen to see if she knows where Venom is, and Venom reveals that he has now attached himself to Mrs. Chen. Venom says that he won't go back to Eddie, but Anne seduces him into helping. Venom then breaks Eddie out of the building, and after Eddie apologizes to him, they go to find Cletus. Before Anne and Dan can get somewhere safe, Anne is captured by Frances so that she can be used to lure Eddie. Cletus has also managed to capture Detective Mulligan, so they begin their wedding as they wait for Eddie and Venom to show up. Venom and Eddie come looking for Anne, but after Cletus transforms into Carnage, Venom tries to bail.
That is a red one!
You need to come my way now. I will let you eat everybody!
Promise!
I promise!
Oh yeah!
Before Carnage and Venom can fight, Frances attempts to attack Venom with a shriek. This not only damages Venom, but Carnage as well. So Carnage smacks her and tells her to shut her mouth. Venom and Carnage then have a great fight sequence, with Carnage having the upper hand throughout the majority of it. Meanwhile, Frances turns her attention to Mulligan, and after stabbing him in the back, she tries to tear out his eye. Carnage transforms back into Cletus after Venom has been beaten bad enough to revert back to Eddie. And Cletus explains that he's not a crazy man, but he is a vengeful one, and then transforms back into Carnage to force Eddie to watch as they kill Anne. They take her to the top of the building, but Frances asks them to stop, saying that it's too much. So Carnage says that he's going to shut her up for good and begins to strangle her to death. Cletus begs him to stop, and he eventually does, but Venom uses the distraction to save Anne and bring her safely to Dan. Carnage then lands multiple stabs into Venom's body and looks like he's about to kill him, but Venom swats a nearby Frances off the top of the building, causing her to shriek and create another powerful sonic blast, which causes Carnage and Venom to both fall off the top of the building. With the help of Anne and Dan, Venom is able to catch Eddie before they land, but Cletus, on the other hand, lands unprotected and completely separated from the Carnage symbiote. Venom then eats the symbiote as well as Cletus' head before police helicopters show up, forcing them to go on the run. They flee to a tropical beach where Venom gets to enjoy the wind blowing in his hair and the sand between his toes. The movie ends with Venom questioning where they will go next, and Eddie responds by saying anywhere that needs a protector. In a post-credit scene, we see Eddie and Venom watching TV in his hotel, where Venom offers to show Eddie a glimpse of the 80 billion light years of knowledge across universes he has, saying it will explode his tiny little brain. They are suddenly transported to another reality, and when Eddie asks Venom what just happened, Venom says it wasn't him. We then see on the TV J. Jonah Jameson reporting Peter Parker as Spider-Man.